Kyle, how you doing tonight, my friend?
A little tired, but overall pretty good.
I can imagine. Kyle is a brand new father as of this week,
congrats,
and
Kyle.
The third time. Yep.
very nice.
Yep.
And also has been harassed today by Bills fans who can't figure out what's going on with Josh Allen. So here
Let's
we
put
are.
it lightly. Let's put it lightly.
Yeah. Everybody thought the world was coming to an end. So here we are. So Kyle, in that frame of reference, if you don't care and you would be so kind, we do have some video clips. Give us your rundown. Tell us what's going on with Josh and any other injuries that we saw yesterday during the Jets game.
All right. So we're gonna watch the video come up here. Let's see here. I don't think this isn't the video.
That's the one where he got smoked by three dudes.
Yeah. So this was the other. This is the injury, or no, this isn't the injury that he happened. This is the other because they wouldn't confirm that they had the injury at the time. This is the injury now that we're seeing here. But that first clip was the possible other injury that could have been had because they wouldn't confirm that that was the injury there. So going back to that, if we can. Yep. So we see here that was it DJ Reed, I believe, that hit his arm. I'm not who got his arm. I thought it was DJ Reed, but Huff.
Yeah, it was
Bryce Huff there.
Aubrey Huff.
So we see what happens is he gets his arm and he gets his arm way back like that, and that stresses the UCL, which is the inner part of the elbow. We see it baseball players, unfortunately. And we know it's a UCL because it's been confirmed by Rappaport, Chris Mortensen, all those guys there. So it's a common injury we see in baseball pitchers, but keep in mind the throwing mechanics for football are different. Nate, am I correct in that statement? Having played?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You've got a baseball guy above me too to confirm.
All right, perfect. So we know the baseball mechanics are different. We also know that the speed at which the throwing is different, and how often the throwing is different too. So keep that all in mind. So UCL, people on the season ending, yeah, that is true in terms of baseball, but we're talking about football here. So this is a perfect point where the clip is paused at here. So we see the hand push the arm all the way back, puts a lot of stress through the elbow. There is a lot of stress through the shoulder in terms of external rotation. The shoulder does have the ability to give for that. That's why when you freeze frame a baseball player, for example, you see their arm way, way, way back. Like it's almost like parallel to the ground the other way. So, but there's still a lot of stress being placed through that arm. And then he's also forward, giving you the potential injury to the UCL. I know that Chris Mortensen had said that he has is getting assessed for other nerve not damage, but concerns in the area, which the ulnar nerve is that nerve that passes through where you basically hit your funny bone at. So that's why they're concerned about that. And that's a nerve that's commonly injured when you hit your funny bone, or also just when you have elbow injuries in that area, because you can actually palpate it. So if you go feel the inside portion of your elbow and then kind of start tapping it, you can almost get that pins and needles feeling if you tap it hard enough. So your ulnar nerve is palpable in that case there. So I know that they've talked about it being monitoring. They haven't said that there's a timeline, and I'm sure there's competitive advantage to that to not give a timeline yet, but there is a concern that he suffered, potentially grade 1, grade 2 sprain in that area, potential nerve injury. And when I say nerve injury, there could be a peripheral nerve injury in that there could just be damage to the area. There could be a base and overstretching of that area. Think of the tap out holds you see in wrestling, or a less common thing, but some of these other people have done is if you act as though you're holding up a tray, like over your head like this here, even just do that motion, you start feeling pulling up through your your lateral part of your hand there, your medial part, and then you start feeling a pulling. That's you're biasing your ulnar nerve there. So as you come up more and more like this, you feel it more and more, and then you can really overstretch it and cause some pain there. So that explains why he's grabbing his wrist when he first gets hit right afterward, and then he starts grabbing at the elbow because he's feeling that pulling, and that probably pins and needles bone there. So it's unfortunate. We see these plays happen all the time. It's just Josh Allen, and Bill Smofford freaks out about this stuff. So it just I'm glad it's not season ending from what they're saying, because I think they'd be a little more forthright with that stuff, and they are to some extent. But we know that this isn't this isn't not nothing though. And I know everybody's worried about the timelines. To give some context here, he had a very similar injury back in 2018 against Houston Texans in week 6, I believe it was. He missed the next following 4 games, and then he had a bye on top of that too. So he had 5 weeks to get fully right there. Keep in mind that was a 6-10 season. So were they rushing their rookie quarterback out there as soon as they could? Probably not. And look in retrospect, that's what they did there. Looking at timelines though, if it's a grade 1, grade 2, you're probably looking at anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks where he's potentially going to be out. There is a chance you could see him be out for even longer, such as an IR designation. I don't know that the teams want to do that though, because if you think about it, the threat of Josh Allen alone being on your roster, potentially be able to play, would be enough for teams to game plan for him, even if he's not going to play. So knowing that they have the Vikings game, which I don't think he's going to play for, the Browns game, which is a big iffy, and then you have the Lions game right after that, you could give him some time to get some rest and then come back against, I believe it's the Patriots in week 12, 13. Yeah, if the math checks out right with that, whatever it is, but against the Patriots the following Thursday there. So, I want to be wrong. I always want to be wrong in these situations, but the film doesn't lie. And then what we're seeing from Rappaport, what we're seeing just out in the, for well-sourced people, there's some concern here, but I don't think it's season ending or surgery.
Okay. And in regards to Greg Rousseau, is this something, because it's a high ankle sprain, obviously It's something that is typically one that lingers. What do you expect?
So the team did say he's week to week. They did say it's high ankle. And then this is a clip here where Rousseau starts cutting to his right. Conklin, I don't know what he does. He falls down and clips Rousseau from the outside, which is a common way that the high ankle sprain does occur there. But what's impressive and not impressive is that he played for the next, I believe, 6 plays and was limping around on the injury. And what happened with that was the swelling wasn't kicking in. And he knew that, hey, I hurt my ankle, but wasn't quite sure about what was going on there. And then he got taped up, was ready to play, but he did not re-enter the game in the second half there. So we do have some context for that too. We see that Ed Oliver missed 3 games with his high ankle sprain suffered in week 1 against the Rams. And do I think he's going to miss 3 games as well? Possibly more, maybe 2. It just depends on how severe it is. But the week-to-week designation does fit with that. And they have enough depth at that position. They can allow him to get fully right with that though too.
Okay. And any other injuries of note?
Not too much, sir. I did see Dane Jackson look to be a stinger again. That it would be his 3rd stinger, and I believe 4th overall since last year. Now we know he had that nasty hit in week 2 against the Titans, and then he had a stinger back against the Chiefs, and then he had this stinger again here. So that has some concern that there might be some underlying issues that I'm sure the team's just trying to get through and they'll manage in the offseason. But that's just something to keep monitoring. But hopefully we'll see maybe his play as Tre'Davious White eventually does come back. We also know Kyrie Elam did suffer what appeared to be a left ankle injury. He was trying to slow down and stop when Garrett Wilson had his fumble that he self-recovered. Looked as though to roll his ankle inward, possible low ankle sprain. There's a possibility he could kind of jammed his ankle up as well too, because he's trying to stop real fast and stop on a dime. So a lot of now, but obviously the biggest ones are Josh Allen and Greg Rousseau.
Okay. Well, we will keep tabs, and for all of Bills Mafia, make sure that you are following Banged Up Bills on Twitter. You could check up bangedupbills.com. Kyle will have up-to-date information on Josh Allen and all Bills injuries moving forward. Done a great job. He does a great job every single week. You can check here, Buffalo Late Night, Locked On Bills, Buffalo Rumblings, Cover One. He's all over the place, and get your up-to-date injury information. So, Kyle, we'll see you next week, man.
All right. Take care,
Get
guys.
some sleep.
Yes.